Okay. Hello, hello. So we are in the process of figuring out how to guess them. So we're gonna wait, give it a second. It might take a moment. Um, but to anyone who's on, welcome. I am so happy to be wrapping this up with Josh and Jenny. I think anyone who's ever heard me publicly speak about them or privately in my house, I just think that they're both so incredible. And I've looked up to Jenny my whole life, and I'm obsessed with both of them. So grateful that they are joining us for this live. My sister's on. Thanks, Sissy. So I'm gonna see if they're on yet, and then guess them. Yes, you did it! Yes, Josh. Okay, hold on. I'm so proud of you.
That's a big accomplishment for us.
That was rough.
We were trying to do it on the computer. Apparently, you can't do this on the
Can't
computer.
do it live on the computer.
Very old
Bailee.
right now.
No, I honestly, even I tried, and I've tried on my iPad too. You can't do that either.
Can't do it. We gotta
I'm so happy you guys are here. Jenny, you look so beautiful.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you. How are you guys?
Sweater. We were discussing this while we were trying to figure out
I
how
said
to
that's a
you.
very Ginny sweater you have.
Yeah.
I just got it yesterday. It was like a random like gift on my doorstep with like pajamas. And
So nice. Nobody leaves us stripy sweaters on our doorstep.
I said that it reminds me of the sweater that I'll wear hopefully when all of us are back to normal and this is all gone. And so I did put it on today, and I was like, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm going somewhere and wear it. Like on a beach house. That's mentally. How have you guys been
Thanks for
holding up?
having us.
Oh, stop it. I'm the worst with asking things, let alone asking things for people that I just admire so much. So yesterday I was like, just rip the Band-Aid off. Just put it out there, and they can say.
This is my first Instagram live. Have you done these?
I think this is my first one too.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, welcome.
Clearly it is. I had no idea how to do it.
Right, well, fair enough.
But the requests are confusing, just so you know, which is what I had said. So many people have gone on the old live from the day before, and I guess they were commenting I'm here, which was going to DMs, but it wasn't on the one that was live. So it is a common.
So Instagram, if you're listening.
Yeah. Exactly. How's quarantine been with the kids? What is it like? Crazy.
I mean, the great part of it is that we all get to spend so much time together,
Right.
and that that's a great thing. You know,
Unexpected
for 6 months out of the year, I'm in a different state working, so I miss the boys there, and I miss Jenny. So it's that part of it is
we're trying to look
so
at it
great.
that way.
Yeah.
But it's tough. You know, it's tough all around. But we're in such a privileged place.
Counting our blessings.
I know.
We have time to, we have the luxury to be able to look at it in those terms, you know, in a family kind of
Yes,
way.
we're trying not to think ahead. And like you were saying about wearing the sweater and pretending you're going somewhere today, honestly, we are finding the only way to stay sane is to wake up every morning, get completely dressed. Like we have a whole routine that is a mix of.
I don't get dressed that often.
You get dressed. I mean, you put on clothes. I get dressed. He puts on clothes. You're not in your PJs.
True.
And even Hugo always wants to wear a button down for some reason. That's our youngest. But we have our day has real structure, and it's really the only when we fell into real structure do I feel we felt more sane.
Yeah.
Right.
And if if I have to leave for a second, it's just because our 5 and 3-year-old
we're bribing them right now.
Have no supervision whatsoever right now. So
they're with PBS kids right now.
Yeah.
That's which we think is like a big surprise. We're like leaving you alone with PBS kids. We'll see what happens.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I physically have not seen anyone in like over a month and a half. My sister and her husband and their 2 little girls ended up testing positive. They got it. So I haven't seen them in so long, and they live like 2 minutes away from me, which has been, I think, the hardest part is, you know, you just can't go over there. Even during it, it was like you can FaceTime, but I couldn't.
Right. Are they faring well? Are they?
Yeah, they're good now, thank goodness. But I think that was such a crazy thing because you obviously are aware that it can touch anybody, anywhere. Like, you know that, but then it happens and you're like, oh, it physically can happen. And I think the little ones too, that was like, that hit us because I think you just didn't. My sister just commented like exasperated emojis. That's how she still feels about it, I think. But I did FaceTime with them last night. My little niece Riley FaceTimed me 2 days ago on her own off my sister's phone, which was the first time she's ever done that. And so I answered it expecting my sister, and she's like right there on the screen. She's like, "Hey, how you doing? What you been up to?" And we had like a 20-minute conversation. And that's when I think I realized that we're all kind of losing it a little bit. Like when my little niece called me off the phone. But for the most part, it's been good. I think it's weird. I've never structure during this time has been helpful, which is why originally I started this, because I was just kind of not doing well with the whole thing. And my heart was just so sad for everybody. And I was just finding myself like in bed doing nothing. And I was like, I can't do that. And I'm sure there's so many other people who feel that way.
Yeah.
So this has been a way to like make me shower and have a conversation and connect with people who are all doing the same thing. So I am so grateful that you're on here because it has helped a lot of people, and I've gotten some beautiful messages. So you are making
incredible.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you need more ways to feel productive with your day, I'm happy to teach you when we are not on Instagram Live how to make jam. That's basically all we've been doing in our, like, what becomes the spare time when we're not like homeschooling and going about our daily business.
Breads, cakes, jam, marmalade.
Lots of marmalade.
Please, do you want to know something? I say this to my boyfriend all the time. I call him and I'm like, here's what I need to do in my life. And he's like, hit me, what's up? And I go, I need to figure out the best bread recipes now for when the kids wake, so I have that ready. And I want to make jam. That's what I Google at night. Can you please tell me how?
Got you covered. This is truly, I mean, it has been on top of therapy, it's been my therapy.
Yes, it is. I made homemade bagels. I'll share this with you. I'm sure yours are. But it's 3 ingredients. No yeast, none of that required. It's Greek yogurt, baking powder, and flour with salt. And it acts as like a self-riser. And I made those the other night. I've never been more proud of anything I think I've ever done.
Like that because we have lox in our house, but no bagels. So that was, and I'm like, I'm not going to go to the store, frankly, to just get bagels. So I would love that from you, and I will give you the world's easiest bread recipe, which we've been making that for a long time, but because we only at this point eat our own bread.
We just like to carb load here.
We are not a low carb household, but also we discovered the joy of jam making, which also is for the selfish time for me, because when you're doing marmalade can take like 2 days. And so because I have that task, Josh will be like, will you come help me with it? I'm like, I can't. I'm on the marmalade. It's like a vacation. It's a vacation for your brain.
Yeah, but think of like that's my hope in my life is that I will be that person who has a pantry and who has like little mason jars, and it's like, well, do you want apricot? No, raspberry today? Let me just get that. Like, that's what I want.
Now's the time to start.
It is. And then in my children choosing like what the jam of the morning is going to be and telling me how much they love it. Like, they're also really easy to please kids. Like, everything's their favorite, everything. But that's also been a problem for, I mean, at least my waistline, because there's been ample baking time in this house. I'm like, I'll make you a whole cake right now.
I'm loving that. My best friend lives 3 minutes away from me, and she's been dropping off baking stuff to me every night for 3 weeks. So she's like lemon bars, and last night I said that I loved her chocolate chip cookies, but that the batter seemed like it would be best without the chocolate chips. Like it lives well on its own. So she arrived with those last night. So all I'm doing is just, I mean, 9 o'clock at night, it's like hot chocolate and lemon bars. It's just like going back and forth.
But there's also something about, you know, home cooking, that kind of stuff, that makes everything feel like, you know, it's comforting, and it feels like a hug during this time. So thank you for doing that for our family. Yeah, it's true.
I love
better.
I said to my sister before I came on here, I was like, I don't think I've ever been more nervous or excited, even though I've met you both and like I've known you throughout the years. But I just hold such respect for the both of you. And like, I think I've said this to you before, I've grown up literally watching you. I think you were the first person that I knew that I loved acting, and because it just kind of happened, but I think you were the first person that I looked at and I was like, oh man, I hope to like be the leader of that one day.
Oh my gosh.
I do. I mean that. And I have always like I've always meant that. But I think I said to my sister, I was like, is this weird to ask them? So I'm going to ask you, you don't have to answer it. But I love obviously what I do, but the main hope for me ever since I want to be a mom and I want to have kids, and like that's what I wake up and genuinely like think about and like try and work towards, like better myself and start that. But you two are both obviously so creative, and you have such beautiful careers that emulate each other and work seamlessly with each other, and the support is so there. But you also have little ones, and I think you've just done such a wonderful job protecting that and keeping that for yourself, but also doing what you both love. And I guess I'm just wondering, like, if you know, you have two creatives who love what they do, but whose main focus is a family, like how was that, figuring out what that new world looked like? Because I feel like you maintain it. So Whitney just said, don't do it. Whitney, I'm having a lot of kids. She said, do not have kids. I have to.
Then you will. It's like acting too. I remember one of my favorite university theater teachers said, if you want to act, don't. If you have to act, you will. And I actually think it's the same. I mean, it's the same with having kids, because and I think you should only do it if it's a have to, because the truth is, everything, I mean, for us at least, I mean, having kids turned our world upside down, and we were so sure that we were going to have kids and like bring them along for the ride. Yeah. And then we had the kids, and there was, I mean, it was a dark ride. And so, you know, finding that you love someone more than you love yourself, more than you love your work, more than you love your spouse, like anything like that.
In very different ways.
It's very different. It's invincible before it exists, because you think it's about, well, I shouldn't say loving more. It's like, it's a different love that conquers all. And so realizing that and then adjusting everything to it was what we did not expect that we would be doing, which is, I mean, truly all the decisions we make now are based on our family and supporting our family and making sure we are healthy and that our kids are getting what they need and our marriage is getting what it needs. And then we ask all of the creative questions. And also, frankly, sometimes now we have to take things into account. You know, we have to be much more selfless in, well, you know, Josh is going to have to take the job in New York because it's the job that he loves and will support our family. Right. And so we, you know, there's all kinds of little compromises, not little compromises, they're huge compromises. Like, we don't see him for 6 months a year. Yeah. They have to come on a ton of weekends and we FaceTime nonstop. But it's things like that we didn't expect beforehand. We were like, oh, we'll have children, and if we're on location, we'll take them and it'll be really glamorous. that our kids are homebodies. Like, to be honest, right now, because they're so young, they're loving being locked in the house with us. Like,
yeah, you both are here.
What's that?
I said because you both are together. It's probably like their best they've ever wanted. They're probably
they love it, and they're kids who love school, so which is why we won't travel with them in that way. Like, we won't go out to go take jobs. One of us has to always be here with them. But right now, they're like, "Are you kidding? Homeschool?" You know, followed by like Easter chocolate after lunch, followed by riding bikes with Dad all afternoon in our driveway every day. They're so happy.
I mean, look, everybody does it different. It's not easy. It's not easy to balance work together very well. So it's not easy, but for us, everybody does it different, but for us, that's the important part. That's life. And life makes you have to live it, and if you live life, then that's only going to inform your work later on and make your work more full, more rich, more layered, more experienced, and that's what's going to make you a better actor, hopefully.
But you also say, what is it that you always say about, like, this is not a family-friendly business?
It's not a family. It's not conducive.
That's what you say. It's not conducive to having a family. Like, getting on a plane and going away for forever. And our crazy hours. Because I took a job here last year while Josh was in New York. And, like, thank goodness we had help, because I would have to get up and go to work at 4 a.m. and may not see the kids before they would go to bed. And even in the short term, it feels crazy.
And there's also nothing more rewarding than your kids and watching your kids grow and watching them. What?
Just thinking about things Ollie was saying last night when we were watching Dragon.
What was he saying? Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
But I mean, that's the richness of life, and that's what's important to us.
We were laughing, so we keep reminiscing about only last night. So Oliver.
Remember last night?
Last night when we watched another movie.
Good times.
We finally showed the kids the old Pete's Dragon from 1977, and Oliver, who's 5, was asking these. In the past, did books start in the middle? I said, what do you mean? And he said, whenever we're watching movies, the characters, because he understands the structure of characters and there's actors playing them and everything.
Right.
Because of what we do. And he goes, well, in the movies, the characters always pick up the books and start them in the middle.
Wow.
Right.
That is a smart question.
Right.
That is incredibly very, very aware. That just took me 2 seconds too long to even get what you were saying.
Right? I really asked about it too. Or he would ask
they started reading it. Oh, wow.
Or he would ask a question about, did Elliot the dragon grow? And we were like, what do you mean? And he was like, we realized that the dragon was talking to the kid, Pete, on the second floor of the lighthouse, or the 12th floor, whatever, but he wasn't flying. And we were like, some producer missed that detail. he's standing in air. You're right.
Elliot.
How did you answer the book question? Oh, go ahead.
We just said that, that it's just poor acting and directing. I suppose that nobody thinks to perhaps open the book at the beginning when starting a book. Yeah.
They kids are so I'm gonna give you 2 seconds in case she is here.
Funny.
She should be off by now. She would have just So about a year ago, I went to London for the first time to meet the person that I'm with. And so I had just gotten a fish. I had gotten a fish about like 2 months before. And I was like, I need something to, like, Katie just texted me. They were watching. She said they were watching. Okay, so I get this fish, and so I say to Katie, do me a favor, can you watch the fish when I'm gone? His name was Ryan Reynolds, is what I named him, so I called him Reynolds. And so she watches. That's my mother calling. Sorry, Mom, I just declined her. But she watches this fish. I go to London. I get a call. Long story short, Katie's sobbing. fish passed away. Like she killed the fish on accident. So Katie's now telling this whole story of her trying to keep it from Riley. So she's like driving to Petco, trying to find this fish that matches. She's like, this is so great. This is so great. All right, I have one. It's turquoise. She puts the fish in there. She's like, I'm not even going to tell Bailee. Like she considered not telling me. So she puts the fish in the tank and she's like, it's fine. It's fine. Kate, like Riley walks down the stairs, looks at the fish in a half a second and goes, no.
Yeah, go on.
He goes, he's bleeding. Like screams bloody murder. He's bleeding. Katie's like, what are you talking about? There was a speck, like a different color on his like body that was like this big. That was just like a little like red dot that my niece caught like in half a second. And Katie was like, I can't keep anything past you guys.
Did he explain it, by the way? Or did
No,
I
she
was like panicked and made something up?
She panicked, made something up, was like, oh God, like, let's go make cupcakes. I think moved her away. And then that fish ended up dying as well. So she's not allowed to take care of fish. But Riley still doesn't know what happened. And I laid in bed with her and she was like, do you miss Reynolds? And I was like, I do. And she's like, what happened? I was like, he had so many people that he had to go see. And she just kept asking all these questions. I was like, I need to go. Like bedtime stories, it's over. It's done. Do you guys have to go be parents? Probably. Do you guys have... Wait, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, you just paused for a second.
I said, do you guys have to go be parents now? Because you totally can.
Oh no, I did. Everything's cool.
What happened?
Oh, it's all fine. It was, it's fine.
That even stressed me out.
It's all good. It's all good.
Should we answer just like, should we do like 5 questions? People have written so many, and then let's see. So so you know what I'm doing. So this is like a question box, and it's below, and then they write the questions in, and you like click it, and then the question will pop up.
Oh, cool.
But if anyone's listening, I actually have been having problems with the question box and it freezes the live and then they lose it. So let's just do regular comments. I think that way you guys can see it too. Let's see. Just gotta wait till they come through, it's the waiting game.
Happy birthday, whoever that was.
Someone said, please post the jam and bagel recipes. Josh would have to post them, but
we can post some jam and bagel.
You should. Hold on, let's see. There were so many. I had written down. Okay, what's the best advice you've ever received? Do you guys have?
The best advice we've ever received?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I would say. What would you say?
Go for it.
No, you first.
No, you first.
I feel like I'm chatty Cathy today.
I love it. They're here to see you.
That is not true. Okay, so mine's actually a parenting thing.
Yeah.
Which is
honestly, this is good for me. I'd like in 10 years from now I'm gonna call you up and be like, I feel
I do this now because this was done to me. So 2 strangers gave me the same unsolicited parenting advice.
This is probably this is really
magical.
Good.
So I was pregnant with Hugo, our youngest, and Oliver was a toddler. Hence 2 strangers stopping me and saying, you're obviously about to give your son a sibling. Can I give you some unsolicited advice? And in both cases, I said, yes. Yeah. And they said, people had done this to them as well. So this is like a paying it forward thing. They said, if you can, don't have the baby in your arms when your elder child meets his sibling.
Wow.
Give him a sense of ownership by having someone take the baby out of the hospital room, as we were having our babies in a hospital. Yeah. So Josh delivered them, no joke.
Delivered them?
Still makes out with me too.
Like we're there?
I pulled them out.
Both. Pulled them out completely.
I've
seen sobbing.
Seen things.
Did you cry? Were you just like a mess?
Yeah.
Just a mess.
Yeah.
Wait, that's got to be the craziest thing in the world.
The craziest.
Oh, also, yes. I was like, oh, thank God, nothing gross happened while you were down there. And he was like, oh, no, some gross stuff happened. It was pretty terrible. child come in and like receive the baby together.
Wow.
Like, what is that going to do? So, and another piece of advice same people gave me was to have the nurse who was then going to bring in the younger child, also bring in a gift from the other side for the older child. So Oliver came into the hospital room, like got between my legs on the bed, and I said, should we meet your little brother now?
That's cool.
And he said, yes. And so a nurse came in with a Woody doll from Toy Story and with Hugo and gave both to Oliver in the bed. So Oliver thinks he was the first of the family, even though the baby was inside of me.
Yeah.
Still thinks because children that he's the first to have held Hugo, and it did give him unbelievable like ownership over Hugo, and he's always been super protective and would feed him when he was a baby, and like he's like Hugo's mine is what he said.
I just laughed at myself because when you leaned in to talk quieter, I leaned into you as if that was going to do anything. And then there was a moment when I realized it and I went, why'd you just do that? I was like, I'm listening. I'm here.
That's great advice. So give your eldest, kid the ownership of their,
if you
sibling.
can, if they're young enough.
Yeah.
The fact that two strangers said that to me, I was like, well, now we have to do it because what if two people told me that story? I mean, obviously that's not going to work for so many families, but for us, it was something that conveniently time-wise would work.
No, that's amazing. I love that. Let's see. Hold on. I had written this because it was funny. It made me think of my sister, husband, who asked this. I just typed it because I saw it earlier. They said, Jenny, what do you think of Josh's quarantine beard?
This is because of me?
It's because of her.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I love it. He keeps trying to do things with I don't know what, like machines and trimmers and things. I'm like, don't touch the beard.
Because you probably have to shave it, right? All the time for work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm taking a break. And I get a lot of this.
Oh, it's so sexy.
So I keep growing it as long as I keep hearing that.
Yeah, look at that. How could you say no?
You let me film it after breakfast today.
In fact, I got it right here.
I'll do this while y'all go to the next question.
Oh, that's
next question. I have the greatest life.
Oh my gosh, that is so. This
quarantine suits me.
You guys. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Someone asked, what do you think? This sounds so good. Someone said, what do you think the Charmings would be doing during quarantine?
Oh, good question.
It's kind of fun.
What would they be doing?
Making babies.
Well, are we making babies? Yeah. Making babies. Are we in Storybrooke or are we?
Yeah, I feel like
that's true.
I'm probably trying to keep that dreamy pirate away from our daughter.
They got married.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We planned a picture.
You're still in denial. He's still.
Yeah, together we are.
He's still like it's not good enough.
No one will ever be good enough.
We're gonna lead and fight, but we also.
Even though I think Charming feels that Hook would be better off with him.
Wait,
he loves it.
I honestly, I'm still sad that we couldn't do like a dream sequence with you and I think
had to be the best bit of casting ever in Hollywood. Seriously.
You were more me when I was young than I was.
That's not true.
It really was. And then I studied your performance and I was like, I should do some of that stuff.
Bailee, studying Jenny's performance, came in, had little mannerisms that Jenny did. We all stood behind the monitor and watched in awe. You were
like incredible. A baby. I mean, you're still a baby, but you're a baby.
Thank you. I remember I've told this story so much. There's like I've always been excited when I, especially when I was little, it was like, you're going to go for this. And I always had a level of excitement and like gratitude, obviously. But I watched the show from the beginning. And I had said before, I don't know if you guys know, but my mom had said, it's time to go back to Florida. I don't want you to like go at that right now. I just want you to go home and have time. And as a joke to my team, I said, that's fine unless Once Upon a Time calls. And like went to Florida. We were 3 days into like our home time with everybody. And that's when I got the call. And then, I think my mom started crying because she didn't want to leave. And I started crying because I was so excited. And I got on the phone with Eddie and Adam. And I think in that moment, like when they were saying, it's important to us that you watch her stuff. And I think that's when I realized, I was like, this is the biggest thing I ever want to mess up in my life, because like this is something I love so much. And like Something Borrowed was like my favorite movie since, or like everything. And so I remember, but when you tweeted me that night when the first episode came out, I just remember my 11-year-old self like pacing around the kitchen, being like, "What do I say?" Like, and like cried, like so happy.
I bawled watching you in the episode. Bawled.
No, well, thank you. It was my life honor to get to do that. It really was, like so fun. But I do. I love you both, and I've always just looked up to you guys. I do mean that. So thank you for the love throughout the years.
Thank
It
you.
is entirely mutual.
Thank you. I'm gonna let you guys go parrot, because this was like I had told Josh like 15 minutes and I'm 30 minutes into it now.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. No, thank you. There's probably mutiny in the kitchen right now. I don't know what we're discussing.
If you're gonna walk in,
we're staying here forever.
We're just gonna stay in here.
The jam is everywhere when you guys go out. It's like everything's been opened. But do send me, because I will actually make it.
Yes,
we'll do it.
I'll send you easy berry, and then when you're ready for like a 2-day orange marmalade situation, that's where it becomes like an addiction.
Hey, I think my mom and dad are on here. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Oh, hi, Mom and Dad.
Patrice is on there.
No way, Patrice. How are you
I know. How do you see that, guys? Whitney's. I don't know.
Text messages.
Whitney's comments cracked me up. I don't know if you saw them. She was telling me to freeze her eggs. She was like, and then she said, "Jenny, I was your first child. Like, how dare you?"
Fair.
Good.
Speaking of jam, wait. By the way, like little closing story is, I was having a panic attack a couple of weeks ago because you have to have lemons to make marmalade.
Lemon tree
jam. You have to. And I was into the process, realized I was out of lemons, and Josh drove to Whitney's house,
Which isn't far from me.
and like looted her. Would you say loot? She called it looting.
Oh,
she found him climbing in her lemon trees.
That's why she said that yesterday. That makes so much sense now.
So if anybody needs lemons, you go to Whitney.
Yeah, go to Whitney Cummings' house.
You look in the comments down below. I will put her address and her
number's already out there. People already found it. We'll just put it right back out there.
Whitney Cummings lemons. That's the title of her next special.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh well, I just made my day. Thank you.
I'll send you jam, and I also want to see, because you directed a music video, right?
I did.
Yeah, we want to see it. How do we do that? You'll tell us. Tell us how to see it.
I did. Yes.
Tell us all about it.
So we lightly teased it today. But whatever. I'll just say it.
Oh, wait,
Who's gonna get me in trouble? Blake won't mind. No. Blake won't mind. No, this is the best. Yeah, my boyfriend has something coming out. He's in a band. He's great. You'll love him. Like, let's double date. It'll be fantastic. When the border reopens, God knows when that will be. But I directed for the first time. But I have it, and I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah.
Know what you think?
I'm sorry, I blew it.
No, you didn't. No, honestly, it's been out there that I'm like they're not gonna yell at me. Like, it's fine. Like, yes, I did it. Thank you.
Well, if you want to make a Zoom video or anything, 2 actors that are available, we're available to you if you want to direct a Zoom movie or anything like that. So.
Me too. Ginny and I, we'll do like a green screen. We'll put a fairy tale thing behind it. Throw some butter
like clips in, and we're like extended
Yes,
cut.
yes, the reunion episode.
Yes. I love you. Thank you for just saying that and knowing that. That was so sweet. Thank you.
No, we love you. Thank you.
Love you. Bye, you guys. I'll see you
Bye.
later. Bye. Bye. I just love them. That was so sweet. I don't even know how that was so lovely that they knew that. If you guys are still watching, I love you both. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. To you guys, thank you so much for coming on and joining, especially the last 3 weeks. Honestly, it's been so overwhelming with the friends of mine who have decided to come on and have little chats with us to keep us company every day. I know for me, it's been a very lovely, peaceful way to have a conversation and say hi to you guys. So I do hope that you're staying safe and healthy. This was the last IG Live, I think, for a little bit because I do have some news coming up that we started teasing today. So from now on, that's where it's going to go. But I am so thankful, and just the biggest amount of thank yous and gratitude to everyone who's on the front line, our nurses, our hospital staff, hospital cleanup crew, grocery store workers, everyone who doesn't have the privilege and the ability to stay home because they're out there trying to keep us safe.